I remember the moment that I first heard about JDRF, which is when my daughter Elizabeth was diagnosed at Kaiser Hospital. And as parents, her mother and I wanted to know, what can we do? What can we do to help? She was 15 years old and a very active high schooler who was in marching band and did band camp in a hot August summer, played volleyball varsity, and very physically active and a great student. And literally, although all the warning signs were there, she was thirsty and didn't feel good and sleeping a lot. We kind of attributed it all to her activity level and the new school year, and finally we came to figure that something was significantly amiss. Elizabeth was diagnosed in September, and the first walk that we attended was 2 weeks later. Then I feel very lucky that I was asked along the way to, first be a board member and then an advocate and then chairman of the advocacy committee, and all of our family actually have embraced JDRF and are dedicated to do anything that we can that will help in any way. We need the money. I mean, the reality is that in order to fund research, see technological advances, if we're ever to find a cure, it's going to be because we invested in it. One of the reasons why JDRF would be a good pathway for us to direct our efforts to in order to help Elizabeth and others like her to live a better life, that their efficiency is in a class all to itself. The amount of dollars that JDRF receives, a very, very high percentage of those go to research. We felt that in comparing JDRF's record with other organizations or funders of research, that clearly their philosophy was closest to ours, and their dedication was as strong as ours.
So for us, it started when my daughter was diagnosed on her 12th birthday, actually almost 8 years to the day. And when that happened, like so many families, we dove in. We were all in from the beginning and volunteering and doing the best that we could to try and help. JDRF is the organization that does the most and does the best. And even though my daughter is very self-sufficient and she lives on her own with managing her diabetes very well, but the reality is it affects every part of your life. Until my daughter was able to manage better, she had a lot of difficulty, and so school was a problem, sleeping was a problem, eating was a problem, going through puberty was a problem because she was 12 years old. So there was just problem after problem. So that affected the entire family. I don't think there were any waking hours in the day that it didn't affect us. So what seems like an ancient development to many families, for us is relatively new, literally relatively new. Within the last year is when she went on the pump, and she's 19 years old. JDRF was an integral part of developing that and developing how that works, and the technology which works between the pump and her monitor, I think has been just a godsend for her. We're doting parents like everybody seems to be. We can get on our iPhones and actually check her numbers any time of day or night, and we can see her patterns, and all of those things have just been remarkable, and none of that's possible without the work that JDRF does. People think only about a cure, but there's so much that's being done to help people live better lives, to live happier lives, to live more convenient lives, even short of a cure. So I think that's a huge benefit to everyone for giving. And then when I look at the research, even the little things are amazing. Ultimately, the most important thing is that we're going to get a cure, and we need people's help. We're very proud of Delaney Blue, and Delaney Blue came about because we wanted to find a way to help. So we volunteer and we help, but there's always more you can do. So we realized that we could devote our passion and our expertise in the wine business to helping find a cure. So we combined that with our desire to help fund research, and Delaney Blue was born. Delaney is my daughter's name, so that's where the Delaney comes from. And the blue is, of course, the advocacy color for diabetes, and it's all helping to raise money, so we're very proud of it. Our motto with Delaney Blue is to inspire, to help people hope, to help people dream, and ultimately to find a cure. But we want to help at every step of the way, and that's what JDRF does, and that's what Delaney Blue is here to help contribute to.
My wife Christy and I have been involved intimately with JDRF now for actually 10 years this April. April 19th, 2006, our at the time only daughter Grace was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 8 months old. Grace's diagnosis was certainly a shock to us. We had no diabetes in our family or anything like that. And so just ironically enough, this is our 10-year anniversary coming up, which is hard to believe, that we've been involved with JDRF now for 10 years. And in that time, our involvement and my involvement specifically has kind of evolved and changed over the years. And we were actually introduced to JDRF through the Bag of Hope, which we received. Grace was, because she was so young, she was full DKA. So she actually spent a week in the ICU and was in critical condition. And I won't bore you with all that, but it was scary. And so that first year, I was a walk captain for Grace's gang and ultimately became the walk chair in Phoenix. Ultimately got on the board in Phoenix. And then in January of 14, the opportunity came for us to relocate here to Northern California. So we've been up here now almost 2 years and quickly integrated with the Northern California Inland chapter of JDRF. Met a lot of great people. We're just trying to do everything we can to continue to move JDRF's mission forward, to fundraise, to raise awareness. My focus has always been less on the awareness and more on who can we reach, who already knows about it, and let's go raise some money. Right? Because I want to fund research as quickly as possible so that my daughter and every child and adult living with type 1 diabetes has a cure. And there's so much going on right now of just life-changing, amazing research that's being done, and it's being done through the efforts of JDRF, through the money that we're raising. But the thing I'm most proud of is as a father to Grace Gurley, right, what I've been able to help facilitate and the monies we've been able to raise to find a cure for my daughter. We have to find a way as an organization to reach the people who don't have a personal connection with this, right? It's easy for me. I'll give anything and everything all day long because this is my child's life, and you do anything for your kids. It's those people who are in the room tonight that don't have a personal connection, that don't have somebody, right, intimately in their family may be affected by this disease. Those are the ones that we have to try to keep engaged and to make sure that there's a mission. These are not wasted dollars. The money that we are giving to JDRF and that people are donating to JDRF, it is making a difference, I can tell you. So for me, I've seen the wins, right? This isn't pie in the sky. Well, it'll never happen. They're just going to keep talking about it. There's not a doubt in my mind as I sit here today, we are going to have an artificial pancreas, and it's going to probably happen pretty soon. And as a father, that makes me very happy because I promised my daughter as soon as she could finally understand and communicate with me that we were going to find a cure for this disease for her, and I'm not going to stop until we do. And it's looking like, thanks to JDRF, I'm going to be able to keep my word to my daughter.